Yo, what's up everyone, it's BATARUN. Today we're going to check out true quarantine horror story animated from the YouTube channel IMR Scary Tales. Let's get straight into it. Let's go.
I've been staying in my apartment in Jersey City during this coronavirus epidemic. My roommate has since gone home to Ohio to stay with her family during all of this, so I've been in the apartment alone. I've been mostly just watching new movies and shows. I try not to go out too much because my city's pretty bad right now.
To be fair, that's all you can do.
I was running extremely low on food, so I had to make a mandatory grocery run. I went to the nearby Trader Joe's wearing a mask and gloves, which considering the insane line and the limited stock, turned out to be a good idea. On my walk back home in the dark, I realized the streets were even quieter than they were the last time I went shopping, just a week before. Suddenly, out of an alleyway, some guy wearing a mask and gloves approaches me. He had a baby, wrapped in a hoodie and a small blanket in his hands. He seemed really sincere, and asked me to let him take his son to my apartment real quick so he could change his diapers and feed him his food. He swore to me that he was clean and that he just really needed this favor for 5 minutes. It seemed like an emergency, and hearing the baby's little cries and the fact that this man even had a child with him, it just seemed really sincere, and the soft part of me agreed. I let him into my apartment building. It was only a short walk from there. We walked up the 3 stories to my apartment, and I let him inside.
But you can't really trust
the door behind
anyone.
I cleared a spot on the living room table for him to change his child's diapers and whatever. When I turned around, I saw the man snooping around in a strange way. He'd gone into my kitchen to do God knows what. I called over to him, letting him know that I'd set up the table for him to use. He didn't answer. I started getting confused. I walked into the kitchen and saw him looking around suspiciously. But what really confused me was the fact that the man was holding what I thought was his child with just one hand. It took me a second to realize it wasn't a child. It was just a baby doll wrapped in a blanket. One of those realistic ones that can make crying noises. He looked at me and suddenly pulled a gun out of his pocket. That's where things went from 1 to 100 real quick. With a gun,
I mean, it would be fishy for a guy at night carrying a baby to offer you a favor. Out of all times, like, if it was during the daytime, yeah, it'll be okay, but at night,
straight at my head, he said something like, "I'm gonna take what I want."
Plus, this guy didn't have, like, you know, the carrier or nothing, or not even a pushchair or a pram. He was just basically holding a baby at night. It does seem a bit fishy, but the thing is, the soft part of you will agree to help because of the baby crying and all of that. You know, you'll just feel sorry for him. And it was only just a small favor as well. It didn't even seem like a big deal.
Painted black. But even if it was, I doubt if I could have overpowered him. I couldn't risk it. He pulled out a big
Nah, you can't risk a guy with a gun. You can't risk tackling a guy with a gun, mate. Unless there is a chance of you being able to pull it off. But it's highly unlikely.
My wallet, some of my roommate's jewelry, kitchen valuables, my brother's Xbox, and my iPad. It was sickening to watch, but I was more scared of him pulling the trigger of that gun. He filled his bag.
You would care more about your life than your actual valuables in that situation. If that was me, I would care more about my life, so yeah.
His bag, and threw the fake baby in it as well. And then, he left. I called the cops first thing. They came and helped me get in touch with the building owner to check out the CCTV footage. Of course, it didn't help him much, since his face was covered by a mask, making it near impossible.
That's the thing with coronavirus as well. It just makes thieves and burglars to get away with situations like this because of their face mask, because it's a vital necessity now. It's not, because back then it used to be a bit more scarier to look at people wearing a face mask because you feel a bit more suspicious, but now it's just normal. It's just second nature. So yeah, I mean, I guess this whole coronavirus has made thieves more able to get away with wearing a face mask as a disguise as well.
Well, to even discover who he was. All I can do is urge everyone to be careful. Don't trust anybody. Stay indoors until all of this is over.
It's good advice though. It is good advice. Like, especially during the night, it's good to stay indoor. And also depending on like what kind of area you live in and what kind of people are in that area, it is definitely more safer to stay indoors. And yeah, especially if this guy is actually like, you know, he's living by himself as well, so he needs to take extra safety measures than anyone else does, really. It's a very interesting video, and it really like taught me lessons of how I should react. I mean, I feel like he did the best he could have. Obviously, he shouldn't have trusted the guy in the first place. He should have just, you know, let go of his gullible side and actually said no or something, because it's during the middle of the night and it was a guy just holding a baby, just randomly. But yeah, of course, a small part of you will say, oh yeah, we need to help this guy. It's just a small favor. Like, what more could it be? And yeah, I mean, that's what happens. This goes to show how people can be so sneaky to do things like this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Here are some more animated horror stories you can check out on my channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
Life like, this is what your life like. Try to live your life right. People really know you push your buttons like type right.